What's up, guys? I'm Victor, and today we're going to do a special episode of Hidden History. We're going to be talking about the history of Pokemon. I know it's kind of a newer topic, but it has spanned for over 20 years and goes into all sorts of things: movies, TVs, cartoons, card games, and all sorts of stuff. Toys. Anything you can think of has been made into Pokemon. So let's go ahead and take a look at this awesome franchise. One more thing, before we get started, let me know what your favorite Pokemon or Pocket Monster is in the comments below. Satoshi Tajiri actually got the idea from Pokemon by actually looking at the Game Boy Game Link cables that used to come on the old school Game Boy games. And he would imagine bugs crawling along the wires. And he had a really huge fascination for insects and catching bugs, which is probably why you see a lot of bug-catching Pokemon trainers in the actual video game. He, along with many of his other friends, created the company Game Freaks, along with one of his good friends, Ken Sugimori, which actually did the artwork for Pokemon. On February 27th, 1996, Japan released the two first Pokemon games, which were red and green versions in Japan. So, every year on February 27th, they kind of celebrate the holiday known as Pokemon Day, and that's kind of the reason most people kind of associate that with the birth of Pokemon. Later on that year, in October, the trading card game was actually produced in Japan, which was phenomenally huge. As most of you may know, Pokemon cards are still to this day a very big deal. And in 1997, that's when the anime actually first aired. So that's some pretty cool stuff, actually, for the history of Pokemon. The actual first Pokemon games in America were released in September 30th, 1998, which was a few years later, and we only got the versions red and blue. Green was never actually released in America. And these two games featured 151 Pokemon, and they settled in the Kanto region of the Pokemon universe. As of late, there are 7 generations of Pokemon. That adds up to 807 different types of Pokemon, or different Pokemon, actually, not different types, but still. There are 807 different Pokemon in the Pokemon universe, which is insane. To go from 151 to 807 different Pokemon, that is insane to add to the Pokédex. But I think it's a really cool fact that it's went that long and added that many Pokemon in 20 years. In addition to all the original games that came on the Game Boy, like red, blue, green, yellow, all those kind of things, there have been very many different games come out of Pokemon. There's been Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Pinball, like you name it, they've probably got a Pokemon game for it by now, which is really cool because that's kind of the whole history of Pokemon, is it kind of developed from a video game and expanded out into all these different types of mediums, and it's just really cool. On July 6, 2016, Pokemon invented the Pokemon Go app, which was a little bit different than the regular, Pokemon games everybody was used to. It was an app that everybody downloaded onto their smartphones, which let people play in an augmented reality and catch Pokemon and walk out in real life, kind of experiencing the whole Pokemon phenomena, which was really different and really interesting. There had been 500 million people download that app by the end of 2016, and there's no telling how many people actually play that game now, because it's been going forever. And speaking of which, on February 27th, Pokemon Day, they're actually advertising that there's going to be really big events and things for players to play, and that is going to be very interesting. So if you're into that, you really might want to check that out. So this is a brief history of the origins of Pokemon. There's a vast amount of history with Pokemon, and if you know anything, because it's gone on for 20 years, extra you want to add, let me know in the comments below, and be sure to let me know your favorite Pokemon, and be sure to have a very lovely Pokemon Day, and I will see you guys next time.